Hi, MacPap. This is part 2 of MGA doll lines, and let's just jump right in. And I left off with Bratz, so let's go to Bratzillas. So Bratzillas were released in 2012 and later discontinued in 2014. It was a way to compete with Monster High. They were actually really cool. They had quite a bit of articulation, movement at the legs, knees. Sorry, I'm looking at my doll. Arm, wrist, elbow, and head. And then also they can move out like the chest, which was different from Monster High because they couldn't. They were witch-themed dolls. I actually really like these dolls. They were definitely different from Bratz with the fact that they didn't have removable feet. I don't know. I really like these dolls. I really wish that they did better and that we could have seen more for them. But I do think that it was MGA being petty. I don't know. I just say like the names for the characters tell me they didn't have a lot of time, because there's Yasmina, Cloetta, Megana, Sasha Bella, not my favorite. There's Jade. They didn't even try with her. There's Fiona, Vampirina? I can't tell what I wrote. Victoria, Liliana, Angelica. Love that. And then Carolina. And then there were apps, but they were closed in 2016, which confirmed they weren't coming back. Anyways, yeah, I actually really like Bratzillas. I would love to have more. I have one, and she's not even in her outfit. I know that their hair is terrible quality, because I've seen, I saw Megana once. I hope that's her name. And her hair looked horrible. I'm grateful that the only one that I have is Jade currently, because, you know, her hair is super short, so the messiness isn't too difficult to fix. Anyways, we have Project MC Squared, which honestly, so they came out in 2015. There was a Netflix show that was advertising them, but I had no clue that they were a doll line. I was just watching the show when it first came out. It was a really good show. I watched it pretty much up until the two Ember and, is that her name? Ember and Devin joined. Like, I really liked them, but I feel like I only watched a few episodes after they joined, which is probably first season. I don't even know when they came in, but the main characters were Adrian, Michaela, Bryden, is that her name? Ember, Devin. What does it say? It looks like Cameron, but it's not. Anyways, as far as I can tell, it ended in 2017, and I found that like the show wasn't canceled. It like ran its course, and was only originally gonna have 7 parts to the show. So I don't know if it was actually successful. I really like the dolls. They were the whole main purpose of the show and the dolls was to get people interested in like STEM, and then they had like little activities that were actually really cool. They were like I can't even remember like what they were, but they were like STEM related. I feel like there was like a make a volcano or make your own makeup or something. It's been a while since I've looked, but I'm actually really interested in the dolls, and I wish that they did better because they were really cool. And they had, don't quote me on that. I'm not gonna actually say it. I was gonna say, but I don't remember the dolls fully. I like the TV show, and I like the message of it, because I feel like most dolls revolve around fashion. You know, we saw Bratz, we saw OMGs. Their like whole purpose is to be fashion dolls, which is a good, obviously that's what I like to collect. But Project MC Squared surrounded themselves with like science, engineering, you know, STEM related stuff. Oh, if you don't know what STEM is, it's science, engineer, technology, math, and then they have STEAM, which just added art to that. So, but I think Project MC Squared came out before that, so I went with STEM. Anyways, moving on, we have Mermaids, which, if Mermaid High didn't come out first, they probably would have taken the name Mermaid High. But anyways, they were released in 2022 with so many characters. Examples: Harmonique, Chanel, and Jordy. I liked these. except there were obviously some things that people did not like, which they had very little articulation. They had like upper articulation, but like their tail when they sat was not very cool, or like couldn't really sit well. I saw a lot of people take the heads off and put them on more articulated bodies, which I feel like that's not the purpose of a mermaid. So yeah, I also know that a lot of people much prefer like humans than mermaids, so that's also could be a thing. I really like their faces, but they were insanely expensive for their price. As far as I'm aware, they're still going. They were gorgeous. Their faces, they had inset eyes. Their faces were beautiful. My favorite was the purple and pink. There were webisodes, and I really liked that they came with like accessories. There was like makeup brushes and stuff, but Rainbow High did eventually start doing that, so yeah. But I did really like Mermaid High. I think they're gorgeous dolls. There was the gimmick of their tails could change color in like hot or cold water depending on what doll you had, and they had really cool styles, and each one was themed differently. But yeah, their tails could be their stands, so that was fun, but I feel like there's a lot of stuff that people don't like, and so I don't see a lot of reviews for them, which is kind of sad. I would love to have some. I did see them clearance for like $12.99, so I have a feeling they're not doing so good. But another thing is their tails in the packaging are like outside of the box, and like imagine like all the children like touching the tails, because I sure did as a kid. I touched anything that had, you know, you could press the button on the doll or something, like, yeah. Anyways, next we have Dreamella. This is another one that is currently active, but I feel like just doesn't have a big audience. These were MJ's response to Barbie. They were released in 2021. They originally did some career dolls and color reveal. They wanted to make a budget line and also make the dolls look a little bit more like a human body, not have giant heads or really big waist proportions. They wanted to like make them look a little bit more accurate to human proportions, but then again, I don't think that you can call a doll accurate to human proportions since Barbie is not. Anyways, in the doll line, there's Dreamella, Yasmin, and Aria. Like I said, there was a color reveal. They had the wigs. Not the biggest fan. I don't think that they were like the worst things, but I also don't think that you could say that any of these dolls were better than Mattel's. They were definitely cheaper. The color reveal was $10 versus Mattel's being $15 to $16 price point. But I definitely don't think that they were any better. Were they terrible? No. I would like to say that the thing that I found is that I dislike their makeup. I watched my Froggy stuff take the eye makeup off, and I was like, I love this doll even more. I did like the dolls, but I wasn't the biggest fan of them, and seeing the makeup off, the eyeshadow makeup, I was in love. I wanted them. But yeah, the career dolls also were not great. I would have loved to have the career ones and then take their clothing off. I'm not really sure. There's a series to go with it, so I'm not really sure like exactly what these dolls are. Like the purpose, like their storyline, so I can't really tell you that. They made Extra Iconic recently, like 2022, I believe. Don't quote me on that though, because I didn't look it up. And those were in response to Mattel's Barbie Extra line. And these ones were more articulated than the original Dreamella dolls, and they also made Extra Iconic minis, as well as a princess line, which was supposed to be, or like a celebrate line. And these were interesting. They're definitely like supposed to be more reasonably priced for like a budget line, I would say. I saw their castle and I actually thought it was really cool. It was pretty cheap, which is why I really like this particular line. It gives kids who might not be able to afford a Rainbow High or OMG doll, sorry. But yeah, there are definitely things that I don't like. I don't like that they tried to push this line out and be like a anti-Barbie, because they made like a big deal about, there's the Dreamella line is gonna be better, but like it wasn't. So yeah, that's just my thoughts about it. I did really like the Extra Iconic, and I think 2 of the minis are my favorite. There's one that I just don't like at all, but Yeah. So, and I did like the Celebrate line. I think it's called Celebrate, but now I'm not so sure. It was like the package opens, like butterflies shoot out at you. Not real ones, fake ones. But I really like them now. And I feel like they're maybe taking their time trying to like actually make better stuff instead of being like, we're gonna make better stuff than Barbie and then not be able to do that. So yeah. Next we have Moxie Girls that came out in 2009, and these are super fun. I like Moxie Girls. I think they're a response to parents saying that Bratz were inappropriate for kids, and like that is what I'm gonna assume, just because Moxie Girls were definitely more child-esque, child-friendly. They looked more like what I would have worn at the age of Moxie Girls. I don't know how old Bratz are supposed to be, so I couldn't tell you, but I definitely would wear more of what Moxie Girls wore versus what Bratz wore, if that makes sense. They definitely had more child-friendly-esque looks and facial features, except they were basically Bratz. They had the same articulation. Their legs had the bend and snap knees, and their feet were in fact removable. Moxie's hair, there's one, I'm looking at mine currently, Avery, her hair sucks. Her hair poofs out, it looks really bad, so I would say kind of the same complaints that I had for whoever I said that about as well. Bratzilla's. They used cheap quality back then. When was Moxie's? 2009. Bratzilla's were 2012. I just don't have that issue with my Bratz, so why did I have it with Moxie's and then Bratzilla's? Interesting. Moxie teens had less makeup on versus Bratz. I feel like Bratz has quite a bit of makeup and Moxie's had less. I definitely feel like they're marketed towards a way younger audience. My best way that I can explain the difference between Bratz and Moxie's is Bratz is what I wanted to look like when I was the age of the Moxie Girls, whatever age they're supposed to be, and then Moxie Girls is what I actually looked like. That's the best way that I can genuinely describe them. I still really like them. I think they're really cute. And again, they were marketed towards a younger demographic, so nothing bad about them. But yeah, they literally are Bratz. They are definitely just, when MGA got all the parents that were angry at them, they definitely made Moxie Girls in return. Anyways, their characters are main characters. There were some others too, but just doing the main: Alexa, Bria, Avery, and Sophina. And then they ended in 2014, or discontinued, and they made Moxie Teens in 2010 to 2011. And why they called them Moxie Teens, I have no clue, unless they just wanted to use the name for, like, because it sounded cool. I can't give you any other reason, because I tried to find a connection between them, but I couldn't find a connection. But so they made okay, calm down. They made Moxie Teens in 2010 to 2011, which is kind of sad that it didn't go on very long. Honestly, these are beautiful dolls. Like, I look at them and I want them so bad. They were definitely taller, but I did not write down how tall they were. They had 14 points of articulation, and they had wigs. They were a response to Liv dolls coming out, as far as I believe. And like their popularity. And then there were, these ones have hard names, Melrose Bijou, I don't know her name, it's Bijou, Arizona, and Tristan, maybe, yeah. And they also did Gavin and Leah. So the four that I first said, those ones had hats on, so I was like, oh, maybe it's covering up the wigs. But then I saw Gavin and Leah, who had no hats, and if they also have wigs, they look like really good. Like, I had no clue that they were wigs, so it could have just been the pictures, because pictures are better at describing it, but Creatable World's photos are not very good. You can see the thing. So MGA, why did they not, when they did the wigs for Dream Ella, why did they not do what they did for Moxie Teens? Anyways, these are gorgeous dolls. They have inset eyes. Their fashions are amazing. Like, I have looked at these dolls for so long. They're kind of expensive. but I haven't looked recently just because I have the ability to buy them maybe, so I don't want to spend all my money. Anyways, but these are gorgeous dolls. Like, I love them. I wish that they put more time into them and that people bought them, because, or like advertising. That's one thing that I noticed with these dolls is I feel like they don't advertising, especially like Mermaids, Dream Ella. Like, I just don't see advertisements, and I watch Disney Channel. I've only seen a few Rainbow High and OMG advertisements, so it just interests me that they don't advertise very well. Anyways, I just want to say that. Anyways, I did find that some people theorize that Melrose and Avery from Moxie Girls and Moxie Teens are sisters, but it's never been officially stated. Nor has there been ever any indications that they were siblings. Yeah, so I just wanted to state that. And then let's talk about a small doll line that was released in 2012 called True Hope, which was a cancer awareness doll line that featured both Bratz and Moxie Girls, sorry. 3 from each. There were 2 girls and a boy from both Bratz and Moxies, and they were, trying to read. They were bald, obviously, spreading cancer awareness. They're actually really interesting. I actually thought they were just directly a part of, like, Moxie Girls and Bratz, but they get their own separate line, which is cool. It is obviously advertised that they're Bratz and Moxies, but yeah, I just want to state that. It's quite a small line with only 6 dolls, but definitely super interesting to see. And I think they did it before Barbie, but I don't want to fully state that. Anyways, let's move on to Lalaloopsies. Probably going to be my last one, but we'll see. Lalaloopsies were made in 2010, or released in 2010. Here's a few examples. They have weird names, so I only wrote down 2. Peanut, Big Top, and Spot, Splatter, Splash. They released from 2010 to 2014. Lalaloopsies, let's describe them. They're like plastic dolls, but they're inspired by like rag dolls. Their hair is super interesting. They've had many different lines. They've done lines where like their hair is like interesting and like fun and can be twisted. Most of the time, I believe they're just plastic, but I only have one. Lalaloopsies are really cool. I do like the idea. There are more, in my opinion, like baby dolls than fashion dolls, but I wanted to include them because I do think they're interesting, and I do like the one that I have. They later made Lalaloopsy minis, which is the ones that I really want. There's a whole bunch of them, so they're basically the like big ones, but in smaller form. That's important because they later made Lalaloopsies Tinies, which are, if you've ever heard of squishies or squinkies, they're that. They look like that, at least, which they continued with those for a little bit. But the Lalaloopsy minis are just like the Lalaloopsies in a mini form, and I like to use them for dolls for my dolls. They're really cute, and I want so many more. Anyways, they were re-released, so they ended in 2014. They were re-released in 2017. I don't know how that did, but then they were re-released in 2021. So yeah, they're actually cool. They're, like I said, like plastic, but they're inspired by rag dolls. Their eyes are buttons. I don't have mine currently with me. I can't see her. Their clothing are all fabric, and then the smaller size, the minis, are plastic clothing, again reminding of like Tots, the LOL Tots, so that gives a better idea. And then let's move to the LOL, nope, not LOL, the Lalaloopsy girls. I gotta stop. I'm getting my doll lines mixed up. Lalaloopsy girls, which were released in 2014, and then I think discontinued in 2015, which tells me that they didn't do very good. They were advertised, so they were Lalaloopsies, but like different. So they had longer legs. They were like their heads were smaller, but they were marketed as, like, if you're growing up, here's a doll, like, you grew up with Lalaloopsies, but now you're, like, older, have this. So I feel like the other ones were more so baby dolls, and then the Lalaloopsy girls were, oh my goodness, I'm messing up with my words. Lalaloopsy girls were more of, like, fashion dolls, I'd say. But yeah, their theme song is really cool and I really like it, but I feel like these didn't go very good. I do really like the dolls though. Obviously some are not my favorite, but I like the different, like, aesthetic. It's rag dolls. I did want to mention, what other projects did they work on? They made Mushka in 2012, I think, if you've ever heard of Mushka. Yeah, they made Mushka, and she's like a rag doll. I think she's actually like fabric, but I just wanted to mention that because I thought that was interesting. And then I also wanted to mention, if you've heard of What's in My Purse, I don't remember when it was made, but I just wanted to mention this because it's, like, interesting. They have the LOL or OMG dolls. Some of them come with purses, and I assume they're supposed to be a reference to What's in My Purse. But I just wanted to quickly add that in. Anyways, that's the end of part 2. I hope you enjoyed, and we will probably get to the end, finishing it off with part 3. But don't quote me on that. Anyways, bye.